Hello everybody, this is Miss Murphy. I am now on part 3 of your dynamic forms composition. So now that we are at stage 3, we are focusing on applying value to make our forms look more realistic and three-dimensional in our composition. So at this point, you want to make sure that you have the following. You have at least 7 to 8 forms in your drawing that you drew already. Remember that I suggested turning your composition in different directions so that you could see what it looks like from different angles, and also to change the variety of the directions in which your forms are going so that they are not all in the same direction. We want to show some variety here in terms of all of our forms in different directions. And also we want to show some depth. So 2 ways that I mentioned in my previous video was to have at least 2 forms going off the edge, 2 or more edges, meaning cropped off the edge of your paper, and that gives it this sense of depth. Also overlapping forms in at least 1 or more areas. In the second video, I also mentioned, the other thing I meant to say is making sure that you have different sizes and scales of your form. So you might have a few smaller ones in the background, larger ones in the foreground. The other thing that we added, the other element that you added or should have already added in your next part was the winding form that goes throughout and around your winding object, that goes in and around your forms. So you want to make sure that it is going in. I showed you on the previous video how to add an opening and all kinds of little tricks of the trade to make it look like it's going in and out. So you want to make sure that that's interacting, and this is creating a leading line throughout your composition. So now we're on to the next step, which is adding value, light and dark areas. The whole point of that is to also make it look less flat. So you want to do this on your winding shape. You want to do this also on your forms. So the first thing I do is I added a direction of light coming from a specific direction. So number 1 key here is having a specific direction of light. I actually have a real light here showing that this is direction, but this is imaginary, so I drew a few little arrows to help me. That way I know which side is light, which side is dark. So I'm just going to demonstrate further with what I already have, and I'm going to go on to my sphere here. So I know that this is my light side because I know that my direction of light is coming over here. So this is my darker side, and I'm going to bring this over so you can see it. I am going to shade in my darker area first, and we want to ensure that we don't make it look like it is split in half, like when we practiced, when we did our practice forms prior to this. Remember when you practiced? And one of the things that we practiced was making sure that it looks gradual, and also that you're showing a variety from dark to light. Gradation. So I'm going in here, I'm starting with my dark, and remember, if it's a curved form, then you want to make sure that you're curving that shadow. And I always leave a little bit of it white, just like the paper, so that I can just kind of blend it over. Now, my edge is not perfect here, but I am just going to show that I'm going to fix that edge. I'm going to clean it up. So I want to get rid of my pencil marks. So I'm going to just, you don't really want to see your pencil marks a lot, so you really want to try to blend them out Remember I also said in the previous practice we had that holding your pencil at different angles also tends to help. So if you need to revert back to that video where we did the practice forms, you may. And also I mentioned that it's a additive and subtractive process where you can take away from the surface like so, and then if you need to use your finger, sometimes I do that if I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to use my finger instead. And then I just clean up my edges here, refining. So what I want you to do is just focus on going through all of your forms and your winding object. So I might have to go back in that and fix it, but for now, I'm just going to keep it like that. But remember, we want our light source to be consistent. So I know that my light is coming in from this side. I'm also going to work on my winding shape here, my winding object. And I know that this side is darker, so what I'm doing here is just taking it on that edge like this. And this is pretty simple when you have a winding object like this. And then I just take either, my finger, Q-tip, napkin, whatever you have, and I just blend it in. It's kind of easy if you just do like one side of it, but then every now and then I'll go over a little bit further. And I like to go back and clean up or make some edges darker, which gives it, so for example, if this side is darker over here, I know this is going to be really dark over here. So I am going to go into that a little further on the edge that is darkest. I can also pull out some of the lighter edges by erasing and doing again what we practiced, which was implied and actual lines throughout our drawing. So these are just little things that really make a difference in pulling out the light and dark. So even just going in here like that, and just reminding you that when you have a cylinder or a cone, that if the light is hitting one side, remember that the inside is going to be the opposite, which I did here. So since I have light hitting here, then I have light on this side and dark on this side. Same with this, light on this side, dark on this side. So all I want you to focus on as you progress is just getting all the value in. We haven't talked about the background yet, but I'm going to talk about that soon in my next video. Only worry about your forms and your winding object in terms of what you need to be and how far you need to be at this time. So go through all of your forms and your winding object, applying value throughout. And there will be another video talking about our background. And good luck with your next steps. Thank you.